Welcome to the Easy Computer Fixes channel, and today we're going to give you some tips on how to make sure that your online banking is safe. And to do that, well, you need several factors, or you need several things to work well in your computer. So to have a safe banking, first of all, make sure that you have good security in your computer. And good security means that your computer needs to be up to date. So in Windows or Mac, you have to make sure that your updates are being done. And you should see updates usually with Windows Update in Windows, or Mac should have some updates that come in pretty much every month or so. In the Microsoft world, Windows has updates basically on the second Tuesday of each month. So you should have these installed. These are very important. On the Mac side, there's no fixed date, I believe, but there are updates regularly to the Mac OS 10 operating system. And so make sure that you have these updates, because they tend to close down security holes in the operating system, both on Windows and on Macs. And don't believe because you have a Mac you're safe. As a tech guy, I can tell you that I have seen a lot of Macs with viruses. So be careful with that. It really needs to be secure, and your update needs to be done. So you can go in Windows and search for Windows Update in your operating system and check if the updates are done. And if you remember that every month you have your updates and everything seems to work well, in general it means that you're pretty safe. Most of the updates, yeah, there are updates that actually fix bugs in Windows, but most of the updates will actually fix security holes in your operating system. So that's the first step. Second step for a security or a secure computer when you're doing online banking is to make sure that you have a working antivirus software. So make sure that it's up to date, make sure that it works, and that says your PC is protected. If you don't have an antivirus program, then I would suggest that you download at least a free antivirus. Now there's the debate, free versus paid antivirus. What's good? One thing for sure is I still believe that paid antiviruses are better than free. But not all antiviruses are equal. I personally don't like Norton and McAfee. Basically, they're kind of bloated and really slow down computers. Kaspersky or Not32 are two good paid antivirus that I enjoy. If you're more on the free side, if you're careful with your online surfing, you can probably get by quite easily with a free antivirus. There's AVG, there's Avast. If you have Windows 7, Windows Vista, Windows 7, get Security Essentials from Microsoft. It's a great antivirus, so you can just go and get the Security Essentials program in the Microsoft website. Make sure that you are on the good side, that is Microsoft, windows.microsoft.com, when you download it. In Windows 8, you have a Windows Defender antivirus that is integrated. So if you don't have anything, go and make sure that you check in the charms bar and that you type Defender and that you click on the Windows Defender here to see if the status is protected like it is here. So these are the first steps. Updates on your computer need to be done. Antivirus software. Of course, the best antivirus is you. So what that means, it means that you have to be safe when you use your computer and not download don't download everything you see, and don't click anything that looks weird. Okay, that's the first two steps. The other step is when you go into your bank site, don't use favorites, don't use any of the browser ways of making things easier. Either bookmarks in Firefox, favorites in Chrome, or in Internet Explorer. Never bookmark or put in your favorites a bank website. That is dangerous because some of the viruses actually can change the favorites or the bookmarks in your browser, and it's going to bring you to a scam or a phishing site. And you won't know because it looks exactly the same as the real site. These guys are really good at showing you something that looks real. So if you want to go to a bank site, just type the proper bank. Here, for example, Bank of Montreal in Canada. Well, type in Bank of Montreal, bmo.com. I typed it directly, National Bank of Canada, bnc.ca. If you're in the United States, well, make sure that you know your online banking website address. They're usually quite short, and enter directly in the address bar at the top of your browser. Don't search for it on Google, and don't put it in your bookmarks or in your favorites. Type it manually in the address bar. It's the best way to go. It's the best way to go to your website for banking. Don't go on through Google search because you'll never know if a phishing site shows up. Google's quite good at security, but it's not perfect, so you can. And make sure that, if the bank site that you're going through asks you for personal questions, it doesn't ask you usually, like, for example, social insurance number or any personal data or passwords, your card numbers, then back off. Don't answer any personal questions, and you should call your bank and let them know that and ask them questions. If you have any doubt, just stop. What I've noticed with most of my clients is that usually that little third sense that you have, the one that says, well, I think this is weird and I shouldn't do it, it's usually very accurate. So just go through this step. If you feel that it's kind of weird, don't do it. Call your bank and check with them if everything's okay. Most bank sites offer two types of authentication. What they will do is they will ask you for your bank account or your card, your client card number and a password that you created, but also for a picture that you need to click, for example. This is the best way to be secure, because one of the good things about that is that even if somebody gets your password, if he doesn't know what's the picture, for example, the pictogram, or the answer to some of the questions that you might need to answer, well, he's stuck. So that does increase. And don't choose easy questions. I mean, there's no place for questions like, what's your mother's maiden name, for example? What's your best friend's name? What's the teacher you love the most in high school? All questions like that are not good questions, because yes, online phishing is the most problematic and they don't know these answers. But one thing for sure is that some people around you that might not be good persons might know a lot about you and actually be able to answer these questions. So be careful with that. And passwords. The biggest problem with passwords is the fact that people want to use easy ones because they just can't remember the passwords. And they have just too many different passwords and they're going crazy. That is a big problem. But come on. First of all, your web, all your banking sites should each have a different password. No passwords should be the same for the banking sites, because these are very important sites for you. A little trick that I can give you if you're into getting passwords. First of all, make sure that they are a mix of letters and numbers and upper and lower case. And one thing I can show you here, and this is a little trick that I give to my clients that are wondering if they are good or not. Say, for example, that you use a word because it's easier. And for this demonstration, I will use, let's say, I want to use the word authentication as a password. That's not a good password, first of all, because it's a word in a dictionary. But you might actually want to make a rule and say the first letter is uppercase. And make sure that you have also a rule that says, well, every time I have a letter I, for example, I'll put the number 1. Every time I have the O, I'll put a 0. So these are ways to actually get by. And if you follow your rules, and the more you have letters and numbers mixed together, the better it is. For example, an uppercase E might become a 3. A 3 looks like a reversed E. So let's say now that I want to take that authentication word and make it as a good password. So first letter, always uppercase. U, T, H. I'll put the E as a 3. Pop. N, T, the I becomes a 1. F1, C, A, T, 1, 0, N. Now look at this password, how complicated it is. First of all, it's really complex. If you look at it, your brain can see that it's authentication. Your brain is intelligent enough to look at that weird password and say, oh, that looks like authentication. But if you remember that simple rule of the first letter is uppercase, your little rule of 3 or 4 different letters that you change for numbers, once you remember that rule, what's nice is that you know your password is authentication. All you have to do when you write it is to remember what's the rule. So every time you type it, you say, okay, first is uppercase, OTH 3, N, T, 1, F1, CAT, 1, 0, N. It gives you an idea that you can use a word but make it so complex that it's not a word anymore. The fact that you add numbers in the word instead of letters changes the word itself. And the fact that you use upper and lower case also makes it more complex. One of the other rules that you should check for a password is the length of your password. People try to put the smallest password possible. If a website says, well, six letters or 6 characters minimum, they often put 6 and that's it. Well, don't do that, because it is a well-known fact that the shorter the password, the easier it is to find, even if it's complicated. And to give you an idea, a 8-character password takes on average 48 hours to find. But a 10-letter password takes on average 1 year. So it gives you an idea that just adding 2 more characters makes it much, much more difficult to find. So make it complex and make it long. Having a 10 or 12 character password is excellent, and the chances of you being hijacked or hacked on your bank account is almost impossible. So make sure that you check that, because it's very important. Of course, email. The big problem is you get these phishing sites through email and never click. If you have an email and you have authentication stuff from banks through your email, don't click any emails that come from your website. Even if they look real, even if it's a contest or whatever, never you ignore emails from your bank account sites. Ignore emails that say your bank access has been stopped because of fraud, and never answer or click a link in the emails. If you need to check your access, then get out of your mail, go directly to the bank site with the address bar, and look for yourself there if something is weird or different. If nothing has changed, there's a good chance it's a phishing site. And you know, scam sites in email are very popular for bank accounts. When you are done with a bank site, there's always a logout button, and use it. It's very important, because even though chances are small that it can break or have a problem, you will, if you don't log out, you actually give a slight chance that there might be a problem and that your information is sent. And I actually had that happen to me once. Not at a bank site, but on Amazon. I was on Amazon.com, and I clicked to log into my account, and behold, without even asking me nothing, I was in somebody else's account. And I noticed, because there was somebody else's name and somebody else's information and books that they bought, and I was just amazed. I said, wow, what am I doing in somebody I don't even know? And I could have, you know, made some purchase and did whatever I want. And that probably means that that person that was on the Amazon site didn't log out of their account, and some bug in the server made that at the instantaneous moment when that person probably logged out, I was logging in, and some kind of error made me go into his account. And of course, being honest, I logged out. But that possibly can happen with your bank account website, so be careful for that. To log out, there's always a button on the upper right edge of the web page, so make sure that you check that. And make sure that you check your online banking site regularly. I would say that, you know, 2 or 3 times a week is not too much. I actually check almost every day on my site, so even checking every day is not bad, because of irregularities that can happen in your account, of you know, anything weird that may look weird or happen in your account. You the faster you act, the less problematic it's going to be. And if there's ever a problem with your account, well, the faster you notify your bank, well, probably the better the results are going to be at the end. So these are pretty much the rules. And of course, the last thing that all websites ask for, bank websites, what they usually ask for is that when you're you know, going through their website and then you finish your bank account, you logged out of your bank, go into your browser and make sure that you clear all the data. So make sure that you go into the internet options, for example, and delete the browsing history, the cookies and website data, temporary internet files. These are the important things to do to make sure that nobody can find that information. It's not that it's a big problem in security if you don't do it, but it's more of a scam site that can actually really make it bad for you, because the data that you have in your cookies doesn't include password of your bank account, but it does include the bank. So what happens is, if you go onto a website, for example on Google, and you get into a phishing site for banks, well, it's going to look at your cookies, and if it sees that you're in, okay, I'm Bank of America, well, it's going to pop you the Bank of America page because it knows you are using that bank. But if you clear your cookies, it has no clues what bank you're using, so it's going to pop up a random page instead. So chances are it could be another bank, and you're going to say, well, I don't use that bank. So be careful. There's no dangers in using the web to make your transactions. A lot of people are scared of actually doing online transactions. I've been doing them for 15 years, about maybe a little more. Banking, buying online, I've never had any problems. Why? Because I followed the simple rules of just being vigilant, intelligent, and making sure everything's okay. Never ever do banking in a public place. You're with your laptop, you're in a restaurant, they have free Wi-Fi. Don't do banking in the free Wi-Fi zone of a restaurant or a coffee shop. That's bad. So hope these little tips help, and maybe if you're not into online banking yet, they've kind of made you want to go and do some online banking. Hope I didn't scare you, but one of the things that you need to be careful is, of course, making sure everything is all right. So thanks for watching. If you enjoy our videos, please subscribe to our channel and you'll be informed when new videos are online. If you have any comments, questions on what you've seen, let us know. Maybe questions on online banking or online shopping, ask away. We'll try to answer any questions. And hopefully you'll come back to the Easy Computer Fixes channel. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.